When we open Camtasia, we might be overwhelmed by the quantity of elements that we see on this interface. But if we break down this interface in different modules, then we can begin mastering every part of Camtasia step by step. And of course, in this course, we're going to see and to take a look and study every item of all the menus that you see around. The best thing when we open a new software and we have to learn a new software's interface is to break down different pieces into modules. For example, let's begin from the top left part of the screen, and here we have the main menu, and it's called menu. Why? Because you see all these labels here. When we click it, we have items that belong to this menu that is called file. We can create a new project. We can create a new project from a template. For example, when we create a project, we can save it as a template, and then we can create a project from that template, etc. We can import media, recordings, caption. We can export the project. Everything that we can do in Camtasia, we can find it in this main menu. So to edit the objects that we have in the timeline, we can modify those objects. We can show and hide different views. We can share the project and the help. Okay, so in this main menu on the top left, we find every item in Camtasia's software. Here in the middle, so we're starting this top toolbar that is composed of this menu on the left. Here we see TechSmith Camtasia, that's the name of the software and the company. And you can see that it's called here to the right, we have untitled project. Why? Because we've created a project, but we haven't saved it yet. So that's why it's called untitled. But as soon as we go to File, Save, and we give it a name, and let's call it, for example, Camtasia Interface, you can see that the name changes, and it gives us an idea of the project that we're working on, because just by taking a look at the project, we know that we're working on this kind of project because of the name. Then if we still go to the right, we see the sign in menu, that is to go to TechSmith's website, sign in, and we have the possibility to log in into TechSmith and automatically be logged in Camtasia. So let's try here. So you can see here you're signed in, so we can close the tab. And now you can see here that we have the accounts menu for Camtasia. We have here my account, we can go to my account, we can sign out, etc. Then we have these icons here to maximize the screen, minimize the screen, or close the whole screen. And this button that you can see here, it belongs to a new toolbar. If you can see here on top of the green line, we have these three different groups. We have the record, and when we click on record to record a new screen, we have this window here. That's the window that we record in this lesson. So you can see here, we're going to study every item of this window, and the recorder is just a different software. It's a standalone software that comes with Camtasia. Then here we have these buttons to work with the canvas. The canvas is this area, this black area here, where we can compose our project. Here we don't have anything, but we can import media. For example, we can import a recent project. We can click, for example, here to import media. We're going to see how to import media, how to export everything. Just to show you an example, for example, we import this media. There is a video. And as soon as we drag this video onto the timeline, we're going to have access to this video, and we're going to see everything we're doing here on the canvas. So if we take the cursor, the playhead, and you can see that we can go step by step and see everything here on the canvas. So this is the area where we're going to work most of the time in the timeline and in the canvas. Of course, we can add some other things like annotation. For example, if I drag this annotation here and then we bring the playhead here, you can see that on the canvas we see the element, and then we can modify this element here in the canvas, the position, and then in the timeline we can modify the duration of the element. So this is the canvas, and in the canvas we can select an element with this icon as we've seen here. Okay, we go back and we can move it. We can take the hand tool to move the media that we have on the canvas. we have here the clipper in order to clip part of the video. Okay, you see the handles here. And here we can modify the size of the canvas. We can click fit if we want the whole area to fit in the canvas. And what you see here now in fit in the canvas is what you're gonna see when you publish the video. But we can modify also the percentage so that we have a whole view of the project, or we can go, for example, 100%. Of course, with 100%, we have to use the hand tool in order to see different parts of our project. That's why if you see that you don't see the whole area of your video, you click on fit and you're gonna have the general look of your canvas. And then here we have this icon here. There is the download icon where you can download more access from Camtasia store, from TechSmith store, like annotations, sounds, music. And then we have this button that is called share, where you can share your production, your video. For example, let's suppose that we have finished working on this project. We can click local file. If we want to save the file as a local file, we can choose what format we can use, okay, etc. Or we can, for example, share our video on Vimeo, YouTube, Google Drive, then you log in. All these items we have seen here, like share, like record, etc. All this, we can find it also here in the menu. We have batch production to publish different projects at the same time. We have here also share, the same thing that you see here, we can find in here, because Camtasia is very smart and gives us these shortcuts in order to work faster. So also when we have an item here on the timeline and we click, we can see the properties of this object. For example, this object is, for example, the annotation. The annotation, we can see all the properties. We can change the theme. As you can see, we can change every aspect of this annotation. For example, the font and the part of the video, how we can resize this item on the screen. But if we go ahead and click on this element on the timeline, we have a video. A video is composed of video and audio. And of course, we can change the property of the video. You can see scale, or we can go to audio and we can modify the gain of the audio. Okay, we can mix to mono, etc. So according to the object that we select in the timeline, the properties are going to change. And we can also click on the property and hide. So this is the area. And here on the left, we have this vertical toolbar that gives us access to different things that, as I told you, we can find also in the main menu. In media, all the media that we import that we can use in this project by dragging them onto the timeline. We have favorite. When we marked, for example, one of these elements, for example, as favorite, you can see that there is a star here. We can click on the star and then we have all these items in favorite, like I have here. Annotation, as you saw when I dragged this item onto the timeline, we can add transition. For example, we can drag a transition into an item, for example, and see how the transition is shown in the canvas. We can add behaviors, animation. Every item that you're seeing now, we're going to study during this course. We have cursor effects to modify the way the cursor is shown. We have voice narration if we want to make a voiceover onto our video, and a lot more. Okay, and as I told you, here in the timeline we can position different elements to compose our final video. We have different tracks, we have the timeline, everything that you see here we're going to see. So we're going to split this course into different sections, and in every section we're going to see a part of the Camtasia interface in a particular way. So let's go ahead and see you in the next lesson. Bye.